Hi everybody, Brent Jones, New Home Source Realty. How are you? I want to do something that I hope is going to be helpful. I've been in real estate for 30 years, and yes, I got started when I was 12. But in all those years, I've helped a lot of people sell their houses. And I want to kind of share with you some of the things that I've learned over the years. Free of charge. I should charge for this because it's 30 years. It took me 30 years to come up with this. But let me just share some of the highlights and what you need to do to get your house ready to put on the market. Just some of the ABCs, some of the common sense kind of things, what you should do, what you shouldn't do, what you should focus on, what's important, what's not, et cetera, et cetera. Again, 30 years. I should write a book, but instead let's just do a Facebook Live. So before we get started, click notifications, follow me, like this video, and leave a comment. So here's the number one thing when you're going to put your house on the market. You want it to be you want to make a good first impression, because you only get one chance to make a good first impression, right? And you want it to be as open and welcoming to as many different types of people as possible. So keep that in mind, open and welcoming to as many different types of people as possible. So, and just real quickly, you know, the election's over and we're past all that, whether you like the results or not. But back when the presidential campaign was up and going, a lot of people would have a lot of political things either in their yard or inside their house, actually. So I just one real quick thing. Regardless of what your political leanings are, you probably ought to take that out if you're going to put your house on the market, because you understand we have a pretty divided country, and no matter how passionate you are about your political beliefs, you need to understand half the country doesn't agree with you. So you've just thrown away 50% of the potential buyers out there. So again, we're past all that, but just FYI, that would be something to keep in mind for future reference. So let's see. When people come to look at your house, they begin to formulate their opinion of your house before they ever even get out of their car. When they pull up in front of your house, curb appeal, they are already beginning to formulate their opinion of your house. So with that in mind, your grass needs to be mowed. The grass needs to be out of the flower beds. Your trees and shrubs need to be trimmed. Your kids' toys don't need to all be in the yard. So I'm not saying it has to be perfectly manicured, but I've shown houses and the grass is a foot tall and the house is not vacant. People are living there. It's just a really bad first impression. Remember, we want to make the best first impression as possible, and that's a bad first impression. You have broken windows, you've got gutters falling off the house, you've got shutters falling off the house. No, you need to make a good first impression, and it starts before they ever even get out of their car. So curb appeal is important. So we talked about that. When they walk into your house, odors can hit them as soon as they walk in their house. And again, I've been doing this for 30 years, and I've been in all kinds of houses. And I've been in a house where a male cat was spraying, and you walk in, and just that smell, that ammonia or whatever it is, just takes your breath away. Also, there are people that use a lot of spices that can be kind of offensive to people that are not used to it. So odors is a big deal, and when you live in a house, you may not even notice it. You've grown accustomed to it, but trust me, it's there. Hey, we have pets, and I don't think we have any pet odors, but you know what? We probably do. Knowing her, but odors is a big deal. So even if you don't think your house has odors, assume that it does anyway, and put out some, what do you call that, air fresheners, where every 20 minutes it'll spew some good smelling stuff, or put out some potpourri. If you're we're going to talk about floors in a minute, but when you vacuum your floors, you can do that. Whatever that stuff is, you sprinkle on the carpet, and then you vacuum it, and it makes everything smell good, whatever that is. You know what I'm talking about. But assume your house has odors and do something to eliminate it, to neutralize that. Carpets, it would be great if you had your carpets professionally cleaned before you put your house on the market. At least they need to be vacuumed and in good condition. We'll talk about flooring here in just a little bit. But And I've been in houses, and it looks like people haven't vacuumed the carpet in 6 months. It's just unbelievable. And you want to sell your house seriously? Be sure the carpets are freshly vacuumed. If you have wood floors, be sure that they're clean, waxed, polished, ready to go, so they look like a shiny new dime. Lights. Every light in the house needs to be working. You need to if you got a burned out light bulb, replace it. How difficult is that to replace a light bulb? Come on. But when you when you have lights and you flip the kitchen light switch on and only half of them come on and the other half are burned out, it just gives the impression that the house is not well kept. Speaking of that, real quickly, your air filters and your HVAC, be sure that they're changed, because if you don't change your air filters, it overtaxes your HVAC system, but it also kind of blows out this brownish looking stuff, which gets on the vents of your HVAC. And again, it makes it look like the house is just unkept. So make every light bulb burn. And I'll say this real quick. You can get bright white and you can get kind of warm white. Pick one of them and go with it. Don't have a bright white next to a warm white next to a bright white. It's just a hodgepodge. And I know that's a minor thing, but I've been in houses where you flip the light and it's like every light bulb's a different color. So just pick a color, whether it's warm or the bright white, and go with it. Closets. One of the things people love is closet space. They love closet space. You can never have too much closet space. And if your closets are just cram-packed, then people can't really see or appreciate how much closet space you've got. So clear out your closets. It doesn't have to be completely empty, but get the clutter out. And by the way, if you're going to have a space in your house that's going to be cluttered, let it be the garage. You don't necessarily have to. Sorry about that. You don't necessarily have to go rent a storage unit. You might have to, but get a lot of the clutter out of the closet so people can see and appreciate how much closet space you've got. Furniture, like say for instance in the living room, or really even the bedrooms, but mainly the living room. If you've got just so much furniture and it really looks cluttered, the problem with that is it's going to make your house seem small. People don't typically like small. So if you have a really nice big living room, but you've got so much furniture cram packed in there, it's just going to make it feel small. So pick out the pieces that really work, that you really need, and put the others either in storage or in the garage. Now, kitchen and bathrooms. We're going to talk about that because in a lot of ways the kitchens and the bathrooms kind of relate to each other, in that, just for openers, they've got to be clean. The kitchen's got to be clean. The bathrooms have got to be clean. Kitchen sink's got to be clean. All the unnecessary appliances that you have out on the countertop, put them away. You've got whatever, a blender or a mixer, and you haven't used it since Thanksgiving, put it away. People love countertop space, and if you've got a ton of stuff out on the countertop, it's going to make it look like you don't have much countertop space. So if you don't need it in your everyday life, put it away. Make sure the sinks are clean in the kitchen. No dirty dishes. You're going to have a show and you got dirty dishes piled up in the sink? No, you don't. No. Wash the dirty dishes, put them in the dishwasher. So again, we want to make a good impression. And then with that also relates to the bathrooms. The bathrooms need to be clean. And if you've got kids, I understand. It's hard. You can spend all day Saturday cleaning the house, and then the kids come through and it looks like you haven't touched it in a month. I get it. But before the kids leave to go to school and they brush their teeth, make them clean out the sink. The sinks need to be clean. The toilets need to be clean. And again, talking about odors, no odors in the bathroom either. Bleach out, pour bleach in the toilet. Make sure that it's clean. The showers, the shower tub combos, they need to be clean. No mold growing. Clean the glass on the shower. Don't have soap build up, soap scum on the shower door. Again, it's not a good look. It's just, people are like, yeah, the house just doesn't have a clean feel to it. So just do it. Just make sure the bathrooms and the kitchen are clean. They smell nice, that kind of thing. And again, especially in the kitchen, we talked about countertops. Same thing in the bathroom. Don't have stuff, just tons of stuff on your bathroom countertops. Ladies, all your makeup and stuff like that, do something with it, because again, you have a ton of stuff out on the countertops that makes it look like you don't have much countertop space. All right, what else do I want to talk to you about real quick? A couple of last things in passing. Toys. You have kids. Don't have toys out in the front yard. Don't have toys out in the backyard. Don't have toys thrown out all throughout the house. Now, we don't have kids. My kids are grown and gone. But we do have dogs. And I'll tell you what, dogs in a lot of ways remind me of kids, you know. They just get every toy out of the toy box and they scatter them out all over the house. Pick up the toys. It's just a matter of making a good first impression. If you have a fireplace, a wood-burning fireplace, a lot of people are not doing that these days. They get the cool new rehab fireplaces that kind of have LED lights and that kind of stuff. But if you still have a wood-burning fireplace, be sure it's clean. You know, get all the past ashes out of it. In the attic, it's going to be rare for when a buyer is going to come look at your house that they're going to go up in the attic. I've actually had people do it. Typically, it's the husband. A little bit weird, a little strange, but it would happen. But that's not the point. The point is, be sure that the pull-down staircase is safe, that it's in workable condition. Because you're gonna have the house inspection. We're gonna talk about that in a second. But the main thing is the attic can be cluttered. That's not a problem. You should see my attic. But be sure that the pull down stairs is safe and in workable condition. If you have a pool, you have a swimming pool, that pool's got to be clean. Do not put your house on the market and you got a swimming pool and it's black water. Do not do that. Because I'm telling you, people are going to love the house. They're going to go out. They're going to see the pool and they're going to say, "Oh my God, what's wrong with that pool? It's going to be $30,000. It must have a crack in it. All the plumbing equipment, all the electrical going to the pool must not be working. Honey, let's go find something else." Really bad impression because people freak out when they see dark, black, dirty swimming pools. They always assume the worst. There's something wrong with it. And whatever it is that's wrong with it, it's expensive. Honey, let's go find something else. So keep your swimming pool clean, clear, blue water, and keep, especially in the fall, keep all the leaves out of it. Inspection. Now let's talk about this real quickly. You put your house on the market, you're going to have a buyer come turn in an offer, y'all are going to have an executed contract. There's going to be an option period. Now in this ridiculous, crazy market that we're in, some buyers are opting to not have an option period, but still, 90% of the time, yes, the buyer is going to have an option period, which means it's going to give them 3 days, 5 days, 7 days, whatever y'all negotiated and agreed to. It's going to give them time to have the house inspected. So the inspector is going to come out. The inspector needs to have unobstructed access to all the components of the house. So for instance, if your hot water heater's in the garage and you got tons of stuff piled up in front of it, he's not going to move your stuff. There's multiple reasons why he's not going to move your stuff. A lot of it's just liability. You know, you got stuff piled up in front of the hot water heater and he goes and starts moving it and it comes crashing down. He breaks your stuff or your stuff comes tumbling down on top of him and now he gets hurt. There's tons of liability involved in that. He's not going to do it. So that means the hot water heater doesn't get inspected, and now the buyers are not happy because they paid for an inspection and all the components were not able to be properly inspected. So things that you would need to clear away and be able to have access, let the inspector have access to, would be the hot water heater, electrical panels, HVAC units like up in the attic, gas pipes, plumbing pipes. So anything in your house, any of those components that you have obstructions in the way now. This would, when you're getting your house ready to put on the market, this would be a great time to get all those obstructions removed so that when you get a contract and the inspector is going to come out, he can come out and do a complete thorough inspection of the property. Okay? Last couple of things. You haven't heard me mention you need to replace the flooring, and you haven't heard me mention you need to paint the house. Flooring. I'm not one of these realtors that says you need to spend tens of thousands of dollars to get your house ready to put on the market, especially in this market, the seller's market, when the demand for houses is so much. Even in a cooler market, I would not recommend that. So replacing flooring, I would say no, unless, there's always an exception to the rule, unless there's just something so horrible about your carpet that when people walk in, again, we're trying to make a good first impression, right? And they walk in and there's something so horrible about your carpet that it's just a huge turnoff. And I've been in houses like that. I've been in houses where when you walk across the carpet, you feel like going outside and burning your shoes. If your carpet is just a horrible deficiency, huge turnoff, yeah, you should seriously consider replacing the carpet. But if it's just normal wear and tear, maybe not so much. The other thing you didn't hear me talk about is having the house painted. Maybe the new buyers would want the little girl's room to be Pepto-Bismol pink. Maybe the new buyers would want the little boy's room to be Dallas Cowboy blue. I wouldn't necessarily recommend that you paint the house a neutral color. Now, there are realtors that would disagree with me on that, but I'm just saying, especially in this ridiculous seller's market, you're going to tell me the buyers love everything about your house. It's perfect, perfect, perfect. Perfect area, perfect school district, perfect yard, perfect, right? And they're not going to buy it because that wall is blue? That's silly nonsense. Do you know the easiest fix that there is paint? But again, now if you're again, there's always exceptions to the rules. If your paint is just horrible and grungy and dirty and smudgy, yeah, if it's a turnoff, if it's a deficiency, yeah, let's talk about it. But in this market, people are not going to say, I'm not going to buy your house because the little girl's room is Pepto-Bismol pink. That's just silly. So anyway, in summary, let me just say, you want to make the house as open and welcoming as possible. You only get one chance to make a good first impression. Get rid of odors. Assume your house does have odors, and put out potpourri and that kind of stuff. Understand that they're going to start formulating their opinion of your house when they pull up out front, before they ever even set foot. So make sure the yard looks good, no odors, any deficiencies, get rid of all the clutter. What else? Get rid of any furniture you don't need, clear out the closets, make sure that the bathrooms and the kitchen are clean. Let me say one more thing. You're going to be living in the house while you have your house on the market, and you need to live there and you need to be able to enjoy it. Let me say just one thing real quick. If you have so much of you in the house, I've learned over 30 years that most people don't have very good imaginations. They only see what they see. They don't see what it could be. And if there's so much of you and your family in the house, they have a difficult time seeing themselves and their family in your house. So the point being here is, if you have family portraits and family pictures just everywhere. So for instance, I know you've been in a house where you walk down the hall, headed to the bedrooms, right? And on the wall, as you're walking down the hallway, it's just generations and generations and generations of your family, dating back to the Civil War or whatever. The problem with that is there's just so much of you and your family in the house, they can't see themselves and their family in your house. So you might want, I'm not saying take down every single family picture, but I'm saying you might want to neutralize that. Take down some of that stuff. It would make the walls, it would make it look less cluttered, but also it would help them be able to visualize themselves and their family in your house. So anyway, I hope this helps. It took me 30 years to come up with that. If you would like to have a copy of this, I'll be happy to send it to you. If you'd like for me to come out and take an evaluation of your house, I'll be more than happy to do that as well. No cost, no obligation, happy to do it. So hopefully this helps. Anything I can do to be of help, feel free to call, text, email me, whatever means of communication you would like. Brent Jones, New Home Source Realty, 214-649-4528, 214-649-4528. Bye-bye.